No.
5, 4, 3, 2. It sounds like the countdown for rockets. Okay, are we all set? Okay. Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Hello, everyone. A lot of familiar faces. And I'm sure all of you had a wonderful session just before this. So it's very interesting. Thank you, Dr. Eric Miller, for this beautiful platform. And I'm very happy to be at the Chennai Storytelling Festival 2023. All right, so let's dive right into Kamishibai. So this is a storytelling format that comes all the way from Japan. And so before we start, just a little bit to know all of you. So do some of you want to unmute yourself? Please tell me your name, where you're from. I'm just hoping if somebody wants to join. It's 5 minutes past 8. So in case somebody is joining in, you want to unmute and just tell me where you're from.
I'm Judy. I'm from New Jersey and
Hi,
happy
Judy.
to be here. I'm looking forward to learning some more. It's been a great morning so far with the opening and that first session, and it's just going to get better and better because it usually does.
Hi, Judy. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
And I'm Jody, and I used to live in New Jersey, but now I live in Maryland, just outside Washington, D.C.
Wonderful. Happy to have you here, Jody.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Glad to be here.
Happy to have you here, Chris. Great. I see.
Hi.
Yes, hi.
Hi, I'm Enedina. I'm from Sardinia.
All right.
Italy.
Hello. Happy to have you.
I tell with the Kamishibai.
You
I
do?
use the Kamishibai. So
wonderful.
I'm sorry, but I'm sorry today I have to leave at 4. And I will see, I hope to be able to see the recording.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So great. Happy to have all of you here. Yes.
Hi, I'm Moira from Munich, Germany. I agree with Judy, although it has been a nice afternoon for me. And I remember you from other storytelling at Eric's.
Yes.
I know the Kamishibai. I've told several times with it, but I'm always eager to learn something new. And I apologize in advance for health issues. I have to be a little bit on and off because I can't stand or sit for long. So please excuse me for that. I try to follow as best I can. Thank you.
Yes, hi, I do remember. All right, thank you. Let's begin. In case anybody wants to say anything, of course, there's a chat. So please put in your messages on the chat. So as I begin, I would I have a small presentation for all of you. I'll take you through a little bit brief history about Kamishibai. And as Eric said, for some of you to help you pronounce this beautiful word, right? And also tell you why this workshop is called Kyokan. What is that, right? So I would like to put this disclaimer right in the beginning that it is not my native form. I'm from India, but Kamishibai has fascinated me so much that I first learned this form from Jackie Karen and Anna Manuel. And when they were here in Bangalore, and when I saw them perform, I was mesmerized by this art form. And then I did a lot of research. I went ahead to learn, to get my own butai, to make my own cards. So it's been a wonderful journey for me, and I'm sure, and I hope it'll be a wonderful journey for all of you who have been using this and want to try and use this format. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Is my screen visible? Yeah, somebody can just give me a thumbs up and I'll know it's visible. Yeah, all right, great. So here is a brief history about Kamishibai. So it's made up of 2 words, Kami and Shibai, meaning paper, drama. Right? Started in Japan in the late 1920s. It's a part of a long tradition of picture storytelling. So the priests used this to teach Buddhist doctrines. They say that in way back in 1920s, it was started. It was through 1950s, through the great, the World War II. Kamishibai has been a wonderful form of storytelling. But was it actually meant to tell stories? Was there something else that was, Kamishibai was serving a purpose? We'll know more later. So this is just a little bit of precursors to Kamishibai, right? So these were the precursors to Kamishibai, that is before what you see as Kamishibai today. And of course, it's come a long way since then. There was Imaki, picture scrolls. Please forgive me if I have not pronounced it right, but I'm making my best effort. Nozoki Karakuri, which is the shadow theater of mechanized peep shows. And yes, Eric. Okay, I thought, am I good? Am I audible? Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, thank you. I thought I was asked to stop. Okay, the Itsuzi performer holding the Japanese style magic lantern, the picture that you see here. So these were scrolls of pictures that were used, where the stories moved in these pictures and they were used to tell stories. The Tai Chi puppet is something very interesting. There were two puppets stuck back to back. So the picture moved from one to the other and the storyteller would use that to tell stories. Okay, so this is the interesting part of Kamishibai, which I was extremely fascinated that the Kamishibai performer made a living by selling candy. So basically the main occupation was to sell candies. So on a wooden stage that was strapped to their bicycle, they would go from place to place carrying these illustrated cards. And what's interesting is that, of course, it was called the poor man's theater. And the Kamishibai man or the Kamishibai storyteller would sell candies, and the children who bought the candies would get the front row to sit and watch the show, while the non-paying customers could also watch the show, but they had to stand back and watch this performance. Yeah. So this, so now we spoke about the high of Kamishibai, which was an ardent profession. A lot of storytellers in Japan and around picked up the style, and there was storytelling, and they were doing very well. But with the advent of television, well, Kamishibai, of course, initially was called the Denki Kamishibai, TV was called Denki Kamishibai when it was invented, but eventually Kamishibai almost disappeared because people liked, more music, pictures to their cards instead of just cards. They preferred to watch it on television. Artists who were Kamishibai tellers moved on to making manga and anime artwork, right? So, of course, I'm just telling you the rise and fall and what we would love to call the rise of Kamishibai again. So the revival of Kamishibai has been made by librarians, storytellers, teachers, educators, who all, in the brief introduction that we had today, at least two of them said they're aware of Kamishibai, they're using. I'm sure there are many in this audience here in India, in abroad, all over, everywhere, who have been using Kamishibai, and I'm sure there's so much more to learn and pick up in this art form. Okay, this is something very interesting that I learned from Tara McGowan, and I owe a lot of my learning to Tara, Walter, Yumi, who have been doing a lot of work in this field. And Tara McGowan was talking about tezukuri, that's handmade Kamishibai movement, which happens in Japan. So apparently a lot of people gather together and they create the Kamishibai cards for stories together. So let's see if, as a group, when we go into breakout rooms, we can try our hand in this, where we may want to create Kamishibai cards together. So now I'm just going to take you through what are the important elements or aspects that are used in a Kamishibai storytelling, right? So the main thing is the theater, the butai that is used, the wooden box. Then it is hyoshigi, which is those clappers, right? And interestingly, why were these hyoshigis used? Of course, when the Kamishibai man passed on his cycle, village to village, he would, strategically place himself at a good spot. And then these clappers were used to make the loud noise, indicating the arrival of the Kamishibai man. So that was the hyoshigi, the wooden clappers used to announce the beginning of the performance, announce the arrival of the Kamishibai man. And like most performers, they always started with mukashi, mukashi, meaning once upon a time. Of course, another very important aspect of Kamishibai, which is the story cards, which we'll come to a little later. Okay, so now I just wanted to tell you, for all those curious ones, what is kyokan? The joy of Kamishibai stems from the word kyokan, which is feeling one with. It involves the feeling of mutual relationship, a shared experience between the performer and their audience. So during my research, I came across this word and I thought it was very interesting because way back in Japan, Kamishibai is used a lot to spread peace and love. And their whole idea of Kamishibai was to tell a lot of peace stories, and especially after, those bombings, and they wanted to spread a lot of peace and love through Kamishibai. And there is, they have put this together as the kyokan, of feeling a mutual relationship that the storyteller and the audience who share, and there is a give and take that happens during the Kamishibai performances. Okay, so this, I will stop share now. Okay. All right. So what we have done so far is just taken you through what is Kamishibai, the history of Kamishibai, key aspects that is used in this format. So as we go further, how I have planned this workshop is I'm going to present a story in the Kamishibai format for you, so that for all the newcomers or the ones who want to pick up this format, you can understand how the cards are moved, how the cards are used, how the artwork is made in Kamishibai. So what we will do after that, probably I'll present one or two stories for you, and then we could just talk about storyboarding for Kamishibai, right? As storytellers, we all know that it's very important for us to plan and sequence and have a story graph when we tell stories. And it's very important to do storyboarding for Kamishibai stories, especially if you're making your own artwork. You need to board your stories into smaller blocks so that you know how you want to place your artwork for your Kamishibai storytelling. Okay, so before I proceed, any questions, anything that you have till now, and then I'll proceed. How even in India? Okay, so Vijay has some interesting tips about even in India having these bioscope pictures that we have. Very true, Vijay. And a lot of my research has led me to understand that Kamishibai finds a lot of its roots in India, in the lot of picture storytelling formats of India. We will come to that before we end the session. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead. At any point you have any questions, please feel free to stop. Okay. So I'll okay. It's called a bioscope. That's right. That's right. Okay. So as a Kamishibai performer, it is your personal choice how you want to place your butai, but I usually place the butai on my left-hand side and at an eye level, where the butai and my face are in this level. Of course, now we're having a lot of these sessions virtually. So this is a good way to place yourself when you're doing the storytelling on a virtual platform. If you're telling it to a live audience, of course, you can stand and place yourself, around the box, but it's your comfort level, which side of the box you want. Most buttais have openings. There's a small opening on the buttai where you can place the cards. Okay. So I take my entire set of cards like this and I place it inside from one side, and these are the doors that open. Okay. And ideally, it's good to have a screen or a blank card before you begin, right? So preferably don't open immediately into the story. Have a small screen or a blank card like this before you begin the story. So the story that I'm using today, an important trick for Kamishibai telling is your slow and gradual revealing of the card, right? So this is the story that I would like to begin. The Kamishibai teller usually puts the card back into the box. Very traditional Kamishibai performances, the teller puts the cards back into the box, but sometimes if it's too difficult for you to do that, it is okay to keep the cards behind the box or next to you. Especially when I started telling on the virtual platform, I tried to find out that is it mandatory that you push the cards back into the box or next to you. So it's okay to do it either way. Okay. So are my cards visible? I think it's the lighting. Much better now, right? Okay. So this is a story that is illustrated by Yumi. She lives in the US. She's a Kamishibai storyteller, and she has given me these stories. So I'll start with that story, and then I'll also take you through a story that I have initially illustrated. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a young boy who lived with his mother. He loved to take care of his plants, and his mother encouraged him. She helped him grow a lot of plants. Okay, I am going to pause at every point here. The idea here is to take you through how you present a story in the Kamishibai format. Okay, so it's a gentle and the slow revealing of the story, and giving full time to explain the pictures in the explain the cards in the first picture. Well, in that kingdom, there lived a king. The king did not have a son of his own, and he wanted to give a test for all his young children from his kingdom. He told them that he would give each of them a seed, and they had to go back home and grow flowers from that seed and come back after 6 months. He handed over a seed to each child. Well, all the children took the seeds and they went home. And so did a little boy. What do you think he did to the seed as soon as he took home? So what do you think we should do? So at this point of time, I have used this story at schools where I asked the children, about how to take care of plants. What are the things that needs to be done when you plant a seed? So the children give a lot of answers. So then we talk about how do we grow plants. So then I'll say, of course, he took the seed and put it in a pot filled with sand, filled with soil, of course. And then they tell me what all is required. And it's a fun activity, an interactive session that I do with children. We get a lot of ideas and inputs from them. And the story goes further that I say that, yes, That is right. He watered, and then he gave it sunlight. Then, of course, we talk about how he gave a lot of attention and love to grow these plants. And day after day, then what happened? Did the plant grow? Oh, the little boy looked sad. He looked into his pot, and his pot was still empty. Nothing had grown from that seed. And he wondered why. The next day, the boy went and spoke to his mother. He said, Mama, Mama, I have planted the seed the king gave me. I have done everything that I need to do. I have watered it. I have given it manure. I have given it sunlight. I've taken good care of it, Mama. What should I do now? My dear, have you made an honest effort to take care of this plant? Said the mother. Of course, Mama, I have done everything, but it still doesn't grow. What do I tell the king? Well, what do you think you should tell the king? What will you do? The mother. Mama, since I have put all the effort, I think I should just go ahead and say the same thing to the king. I don't know why it doesn't grow. All right. Do that. If you have made an honest effort and this is true, it's okay to go and tell the king the same thing. So here I have used conversation. So until now, I was telling it in the narrator style. So if you notice here, since there are two characters, as a Kamishibai storyteller, it's okay to modulate voice and make it conversational between the two characters. So the next day, the young boy went to the palace. His friends were standing. Beautiful purple flowers, beautiful blue flowers. The other girl had lovely pink flowers that had grown in her pot. The young boy looked at all his friends. Each one of them had such beautiful flowers that had grown in the pot. And what was the young boy holding in his hand? Yes, he was holding an empty pot. Well, look at this boy getting an empty pot, laughed the other kids. He felt sad, but he did not lose his courage. Well, the king slowly inspected all the children with their colorful flowers. Nice. Lovely. Said the king. He walked past all the children and then, as the king was walking, he did not stop by anyone until he came closer to this boy. To the boy who was standing there with an empty pot, the king was curious. Well, young man, why is there no flowers in the pot that you have got here? Said the king. I don't know. The seed that you gave me, I planted it in the pot. I took good care of it, but it refuses to grow. I don't know what is wrong, but I did everything. But this is what it is. It doesn't grow, said the little boy. Well, what do you think the king did at this point? Was the king mad? Was the king happy? Hurrah, said the king. I have found my new heir. This little boy is going to be the future king, said the emperor. Everyone was surprised at this announcement. That boy doesn't even have any plants, any flowers in his pot, they screamed. Well, to that the emperor said, the seed that I had given you, I had already boiled it. It would never grow into a plant. I wanted to test how honest the young children of my kingdom were. And this boy has come back, and he's the only one who is honest, because none of the seeds that I had given any of you would ever grow into a plant. The end. Thank you. Thank you. So as a Kamishibai storyteller, it's very important. The ritual of opening the butai and closing it is very important. So you finish your story, you close the box, and that is the clear indication of the end of your story. Okay. Do you have any questions, any thoughts at this point of time? Yes, yes, Judy, go ahead and ask.
I liked, for me, I liked the way your face, you really did. It's like you could see you, but you got into the story and you changed your voices, but your face was there that made it seem alive. Even though the pictures weren't, it just made it seem alive. And I also noticed that the way the pictures were set, that what you were talking about first needed to be seen first in the picture as you progressed. Right. So the pictures themselves supported the beginning as you moved along, which was really good. My question is, if you are telling several stories, do you close it again and then put in the next set of things and then open? So each story, it's always opened and closed.
Yes. Very good question, Judy. That is right. Because you need to have a complete closure to your story. So, of course, this is my style, and I have whatever my research has found that I have found that it's important for you to bring a proper closure to your story. So you close the butai, you finish the story, and that also gives you a good time and a good way for you to remove the cards, because your butai may not hold too many cards. Right, so you need to remove and put the cards in, and it looks very odd to do it when the box is open, right? When I'm pulling the cards out. So it's good to close the butai, finish your story, and then probably while you're talking about the story, take the time to remove your cards and then insert the next story. Right? So I'm now. Okay, so now what I'll do, like I said, this is a beautiful story illustrated by Yumi. I will just probably share a very simple story. Yes, sorry, I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead. If you have a question, unmute and speak. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Ellen. Could you just turn the box toward us on the slot side? I want to see how deep. Oh, yes. Okay.
So this is the slot.
It's kind
about
map
whatever.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Right? It was a beautiful job. Thank you so much.
And this side, if you notice, there is a small stopper. Right? So that stops the card from falling off the other side. Or if I have pushed it too far, the cards are not coming out because there's a small stopper. However, if I am left-handed, I can remove the stopper and put it on this side, and I can be using the card from the other side. Yes, Gitanjali, you had a question.
Yes, Ramya, that was a lovely presentation. When I've started Kamishibai, the thing is, what kind of cards are you using, Ramya? Can you just help me with it?
What kind of cards?
Yeah, I mean, is it A3 sheet, or do you really use a wooden sheet, something like that? Or
yeah, that's a good question. The paper is see the sheet. This is a sheet that I have printed.
Yes.
Okay, I'll remove the. Okay, this is the thickness of the card has to be 150 to 300 GSM.
Okay.
Right, and that's yes. Only then your cards will be stable. It will be sturdy when you make it stand inside your butai. So there are two things that you can do. If you're getting it printed, you can ask for a 300 GSM print. Or if you are buying the cards from the stationery, one is to ask for, of course, the thicker GSM. However, when I started to do Kamishibai, I wanted to draw and make my own artwork, and I did not know where I can procure a thicker card, and it was quite expensive. So I used to take these canvas paper of A3 size. So for you to use in many standard butai, it's A3 and not A4. A4 is very small. A3 is the size, and I used to take 2 cards and I used to stick them back to back to make it, thicker. So that'll increase your GSM to yes, 150 and 150. You have thicker 300 GSM cards so that it's more sturdy, and it's easy for you to handle in the box. If it's too thin, it doesn't work.
Thank you, Ramya.
Yes. Any other questions? Okay. So
Ramya?
shall we go ahead? Yes.
Sorry, Ramya. Ramya, in the same line of questions, where did you pick up your butai? Is it available in India?
Of course, we'll come to these questions at the end, but since you're asking, I'll let you know. The butai that I am using, I picked it up in US, from the United States. However, there are butais available now, and recently in Bangalore, I found a carpenter, and with me, Seema Karant is a good friend of mine. So we found the carpenter and we gave him the specifications and the box. So he was able to make a few cards. So for those in India, I'm telling this to you. And he was able to make a few boxes with exactly the same specifications and all that. So maybe you can get in touch with me. I can courier them to you in India. But of course, people living outside India, in US, it's available. It's very easily available in US. And of course, in other countries, maybe you'll have to locally look up on your Amazon or eBay or whatever. It's easily available. But in India, yes, right now in Bangalore, we have a carpenter who has done these boxes for us.
Thank you.
Sure. Sure. Any questions? Please feel free to ask. Yes, Judy.
Just one quick question. With the picture, okay, so when you draw it yourself, because the paper is very expensive, do you glue it onto the paper from a different sheet? Or do you have to just know confidently that it's going to turn out and you do it on that particular sheet?
Okay, I will just answer that question and show you probably my next story cards. Just hold on.
Okay.
Okay, so here is a card that I have drawn the picture myself on this card. Okay. Okay. This is a picture card that I have made the illustrations myself. So what I did was the paper was very thin, right? So I have got another paper of a thicker GSM, and if you notice, they're stuck at the corners.
Oh, at the corners.
Okay, at the corners. So this is how initially when I began, if you notice, see, this is pulled out of a canvas book, which was A3 size. And at the corners, I have stuck them, which is still open in the center. And this is how the card was made. Okay.
Thank you. That's great. So that if when you're drawing, it doesn't work out, or you decide that you still, it's like a different, you don't have to do it directly on that GSM paper.
That's right. That's right. True. So you don't have to do it directly on a thicker GSM paper. But if you're very confident, if you can practice it on a smaller paper, and then you can draw directly. So that's, if you're confident to draw, to draw and you're a good artist. So I think then it's absolutely okay to draw directly on the paper. For people here in India, I can tell you the thicker paper that you get is generally glossy. So it's not easy to draw on a glossy paper. So it has to be a little matte for you to draw. And when you take a printout, you need to ask for a matte finish print, because if it's glossy, it will start reflecting with the light that you're using. So it has to be a matte finish for the printouts. Okay. So, okay, I'll probably do a very simple story. Okay, we'll come to this later. So this is a story that I have illustrated. So a story from Indian mythology. Yes. Okay. All right. So this is a story from Indian mythology. What I'll do is I'll quickly take you through. I'm not giving too much focus on the storytelling part, but I want you to understand the illustrations and how it's done.
You seem to be frozen.
And stories, different folk tales, but Indian mythological stories were not there. So I read this beautiful book called Hanuman's Ramayan by Tulika, and the illustrations were made by, it's written by Dev. Hello?
We keep losing you and you keep freezing.
Yeah, we can hear you, Ramya, but 2 times your image froze.
Is it okay now?
It's okay now.
Okay, I think I had dropped out briefly. Okay, so I think it's my network. Bandwidth is low.
Keep going.
Is it low? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. So this is so the story that I'm going to tell you is about Sita and Rama, a story from Indian mythology. It's called the Ramayan. It's the story where the mighty demon Ravan had abducted Sita. And it's a story where Hanuman, the monkey, had helped Rama find his beautiful queen. Well, this entire story is called Ramayan. It's one of the big, great epics of India. And this story, I tell you, was written by this great sage called Valmiki. Rama Hare Raghu Rama Hare, Rama Hare Raghu Rama Hare. So as a Kamishibai storyteller, you can plan music into your stories to make it more. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you can plan music into your stories. And so Valmiki had written the entire story of Ramayan, and he wanted to show it off. He showed it to the sun god and he said, wow, beautiful, such lovely illustrations, such lovely prose, poetry. And then he wanted to show it to the moon god. Well, everyone, the sun, the moon, they appreciated, they loved what was written by Valmiki. So when you're doing the Kamishibai storytelling, be very gentle to move. And if you are illustrating your cards, if you notice how I have placed my drawings to reveal the story bit by bit, right? Then I say, he went. My internet is unstable. I'm so sorry. right? So he went to Varuna. He went to the water god. He went to the fire god. So I'm slowly moving, revealing the illustrations, right? So he went and showed it to the goddesses. Goddess Lakshmi. They're lovely. I have never seen something so beautiful. He showed it to, so you can create suspense in your storytelling. You can have your pauses. So now the audience is wondering, so whom did he show next? Who came next? And then you reveal and then talk about the next character and how he spoke to this person. And everybody appreciated while he was soaking in all that glory and joy and appreciation. Somebody came to Valmiki's ashram. Can you guess who it was? Narayana, 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 Narayana. So you're creating the suspense for your audience by slowly revealing the cards. Now, like, who is it? Who came? What happened next? What happened next? And then you can do it really quickly, right? So there it was, Narad, another great sage who could travel the 3 worlds. He came to Valmiki and he said, well, what you have written is good. However, what do you mean, however? No, whatever you've written is good, but, what do you mean, but? Go ahead, complete your sentence, insisted Valmiki. You know, I have seen better. Better? What do you mean you have seen better? Who else can write the Ramayana like me? I mean, everybody have been appreciating. Well, you know, there is this, never mind, it's okay, I don't want to hurt your feelings. No, insisted Valmiki, and he said, oh, you know, there is this monkey who lives on top of that, never mind. So you can add a lot of comedy elements, you can make it interesting, have a lot of conversations in your Kamishibai storytelling. So the children especially love it when there is conversation, when there's voice modulation. All right, so let me tell you, there is this monkey who lives somewhere far away. He has written a better Ramayana, said Valmiki. And said Narad, and immediately Valmiki took the address and he wanted to look for this monkey. Rama Hare Raghu Rama Hare, Rama Hare Raghu Rama Hare. This monkey, he lives somewhere on top of a tree, in between those tall mountains, up there in the Himalayas. There is this beautiful valley filled with lovely trees. That is where the monkey lives, said Narad. And Valmiki set out on a journey, finding the monkey. Rama Hare Raghu Rama Hare. He asked for directions from the sun. He asked for directions from the animals, from the birds, and he continued to walk, and he walked and he walked. He kept searching and he kept looking for this monkey. And finally, he reached a forest. There on those banana leaves, when he looked up, something was written. He pulled down the leaves closer. And what did he see? To his amazement, he saw the entire story of Ramayana written on these plantain leaves. As Valmiki read this beautiful story of the great King Rama, his wife Sita, about Ravan, about everything, he had tears in his eyes. It was beautiful prose, poetry. It was so well written that Valmiki cried and he started crying. Oh, this is so well written. Now who is going to read my Ramayana? He said. And suddenly he felt a warm hand touch his shoulder. And there behind him stood Hanuman, the monkey. Well, he asked, why are you crying? What is your reason to cry? When Valmiki narrated the whole story, the whole journey and why he was so sad and upset, and how the Ramayana that Hanuman had written was so beautiful. What do you think Hanuman did? So you can have a lot of questions in your story. So you can pause at some points, ask questions to your audience, so make it interactive. Well, at this point, Hanuman took all the leaves on which he had written the story. One after the other, he pulled out all the leaves and what do you think he did? He crumpled them and made them into a big ball. And without a blink of an eye, he put the entire ball of leaves into his mouth. Oh, stop, stop, stop. What are you doing? Asked Valmiki. To that, Hanuman replied, well, the Ramayana that you have written is for people to read. The Ramayana that I have written is for my love for Lord Rama, my devotion for the great king, and not for people to see. So from today onwards, let people know this as Valmiki's Ramayana. And since that day, Rama Hare Raghu Rama Hare, Rama Hare Raghu Rama Hare. Even to this day, the story of Ramayana has been sung, has been told many, many times in different formats. And a lot of people still remember it is Valmiki's Ramayana. Rama Hare Raghu Rama Hare, Raghu Rama Hare. The end. Thank you so much for listening to this story. These were the illustrations that I have made. So what we can do now is we have little time. So thank you so much. And of course, the illustrations are inspired by the book. I have been inspired from Hanuman's Ramayana, written by Devdutt Patnaik. Of course, I took these larger picture and I drew depending on how I wanted to keep the story. So I'm going to share my screen. I'll just talk about storyboarding for Kamishibai, and then maybe we can grow it to smaller breakout rooms. I think we have 51. Eric can help me. 1 second. I think my laptop is running low on battery. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry. Okay, I'll share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So what I'll do is quickly share with you how we do storyboarding for a Kamishibai story. And this is very simple elements of story that most all the storytellers know. So what we will do is a Kamishibai story also has a beginning, a rising arc, a climax, falling action, and a resolution. So whatever story that you choose, please, sit down to make a understanding of how your story is rising and falling. And then we will do something called as storyboarding, which I think is familiar. I fold it into 6 or 8 blocks like this. And in each block, I draw the story, how I want to board the story from beginning to end, right? So be it this story that I drew. So initially, the first story I wanted to introduce Valmiki. So it was just him in the center with a lot of trees and a lot of plants on the sides. And in that card, I not only introduced him, I spoke about him writing Ramayana and how he wanted to show it to a lot of other gods and a lot of other people. Want to in the order from my left to right. Again, depending on which side you're keeping your butai, I'm talking for a right-handed person who's keeping the butai on the left. So the illustrations are done from left to right, so that's how you're revealing your card. Okay. And then I'm going to place them on 8 cards, and maybe one of you may have this interesting question as to what is the ideal number of cards that needs to be used for Kamishibai. So 10 to 15 is a good number, but there can be much lesser or much more depending on your story. But ideally, 10 cards to 12 cards is a good number for you to plan your story. Okay, so that's how we do storyboarding, and then I start the illustration. So what we can do is probably we can go into breakout rooms now, and I will let you, because I think I hope you've got some paper, colors, artwork, whatever. So what we'll do something interesting. We'll go into breakout rooms. I will let you choose a simple story. So pick up a very short story, not a long one. For example, I'm telling you a story which I think a lot of us will be familiar. Has my image frozen? Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, Ramya. Yes.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought I had completely frozen and I was just talking all by myself. Okay, great. So what we'll do is we'll go to a breakout room. We will spend about 10 minutes there. I think we have time. Yes, we'll spend about 10 minutes in breakout room. And I want you all to experience creating Kamishibai cards, right? So pick up your own story. And like I said, the fact that a lot of people, there's a lot of ideas and interactions that can come up. Pick up a very short story. For example, the story of the thirsty crow, which I think most of us will know. How there was a crow and she was flying and she was very thirsty. There she saw a pot with very little water. She dropped the pebbles, the water rised, she drank and she flew. A very short story like this, and you can use your own imagination how you can make them into story cards, into a Kamishibai telling. Right? So what happens in the first card, the second card? So once in your breakout rooms, I don't know how many are on camera and participative, but I would welcome all of you to participate. Go to your breakout rooms, discuss a small story, and in that small group, why don't each one of you draw one card? Just experience drawing one card, and when you come back, probably one or two groups, I can hear what story you created and what illustrations that you have done as a group. So you may not be able to create all the cards. Don't worry, you don't have that much time because it takes a lot of time. But the idea is to discuss in the group and just get some insights of how you can create cards for a story. Is that clear? Any questions? So we will.
Each group should choose one story?
Yes, each group may choose your own story. One of you suggest a short story, and then each one of you who is participating in the breakout rooms, pick up your pen, paper, colors, whatever you have, and create one card, like the storyboarding that I said. So you can plan that the story will have probably 5 cards, like I said, a very short story, and each of you can create an illustration, an artwork for the story that you have chosen. That goes with your story.
So maybe it's going to be a Panchatantra story or a Aesop fable, some story like that. We have 47 people in this meeting, but only about 14 of us have our cameras on. So the other
maybe in the
people,
breakout rooms they will on.
No, we don't know. They may be in the kitchen fixing food or something. So what I'm going to do, do you want to make the breakout rooms or should I?
You can make them, Eric.
I'm happy to do it. And the way that I would suggest my doing it is just by random, make six groups. Each one will have about 6 times. How many times does 6 go into 48? 6. Right?
8.
What's 6 times 8?
6 times 8 is 48.
Yes, that's about what we have. So let me make 6 groups. But
so while you're making those groups, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, let me make 6 groups, but with the idea that 2 or 3 people will not be active because their camera is not on. And in each group, say if 5 people have their camera on, I don't know if all of you have your paper and materials ready, but hopefully one or two at least will have it ready.
Yes.
So so you can work as a team, giving
Yes.
ideas, but maybe one or two person will do the actual drawing. So
True.
okay, so I'm going to make 6 teams
Yes.
at random. Now, Ramya, what were you
Yes.
going to say?
So before you send them to breakout rooms, I'll just quickly show them a story which has very simple illustrations and a very small story. So pick a story like this is what I just want to show the team. And like I said, you may not be able to create all the cards, but that's okay. The idea is to get that experience of creating it and, boarding the story as a team. So this is a story called The Cracked Pot. So it's like once upon a time on top of a mountain, there was a house. And there, from the bottom, there was a lady who used to carry water every single day. So one pot was full and perfect, while there was a crack on the second pot. So if you notice, the illustrations are very simple. There isn't too many things in the background or around also, right? So, and this moves on that the cracked pot used to cry because he was cracked and he asked for the lady to replace it, while the pot that was full was very happy. So it's just a zoom in of the previous picture, if you notice, right? So I'm just explaining how simple the illustrations can be. You don't have to worry too much about it, especially when you're in the beginning creating it. So yeah, that's about how I wanted to demonstrate that it can be simple artwork and a very short story.
Okay,
Okay.
so they're
So
going
you
to
can
make,
put them into breakout rooms.
they're going to make one page that will have the list of the different
Yes.
scenes, and then
Yes.
they will also do the pages with the different scenes.
Yes, one page is what
Well,
they'll do.
one
If there are-
page will have the description of each of the scenes,
Correct.
but will they also begin to create the individual pages?
We have about 10 minutes, so please
I
try
think
and
let them begin. Let them
let them begin. So
And
one
we'll
or
see
two can be
how far
ready,
it
and
goes.
as a team, maybe one or two teams I'll get to see. Maybe at least one team we'll get to see after they come back who wants to present the story that they
Great.
chose and the artwork
Great.
they did.
Okay, so it's essential that each team makes a page with a list of scenes. And
Yes.
if you can begin to draw one or two or three of the actual cards, that's great too. Okay, are we ready to put people in the breakout room?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you may get an invitation or it may happen automatically. I'm not sure. Okay, see you in 10 minutes. Okay, now Ramya, I've put
Yes, Eric?
everybody in breakout rooms.
Mhm.
For
People are still-
some reason, these two people have not gone. I don't know why. But now somebody else is joining. So what do we do with this new person who's joining?
Whoever has joined just now, I'm just taking you through a Kamishibai workshop. So
No, they're not
people
here
have gone
yet.
into.
They're not here
Okay.
yet. Shown on
That's
video.
okay, Eric. They can
Oh.
stay in the main room.
Yeah, and actually somehow there's still like 12 people who have their cameras turned off. Maybe, when I automatically created the breakout rooms, maybe people who have their cameras turned off are automatically not included.
Oh, there's 17 participants still in the main room, but I don't think anybody
Yes.
is.
Yes, there's 17 who have their cameras turned off. So okay, so I think it's
So
all
we
good.
can manually try and put them in.
No,
room.
if any of you who have your cameras turned off now, if you would like to go into a breakout room, please speak up.
Or hold your silence until the end of the session.
Yeah, okay, so far we're not getting any requests. So everyone who has your camera turned off, if you're there, just wait 9 minutes and then everybody will come back.
Right.
Okay.
So can I enter breakout rooms? I think I can, right?
Yes, can you do it? You're a co-host.
Shall I just join 1 or 2 breakout rooms and
Go ahead and try.
I
If you
can
know
do
how
it
to-
myself and I
You know
can
how to
come
do
back.
it, go ahead. Or do I need to do it
Yeah.
or can you do it?
No, I can do it myself, Eric.
Go
I can
ahead,
just
go
enter
ahead. And you
breakout
know, in
rooms
this
and
last
come back.
25
All
minutes,
right.
if somehow there is a connection problem, just reconnect with from your phone. You follow me?
Okay.
If
Okay.
there is
Yes.
a problem with your computer, you can come back on your phone because now you don't have to do
Okay.
any more screen share.
No, there's just one last screen share.
Well,
Just
okay,
one
but
last.
anyway, if there's a problem, come back on your phone.
Yeah, there is some screen share, but I can come back on my phone. Yeah. All right. Welcome back, everyone. So what we will do is, it's 9:15. So, all right. So before we start with the sharing, I just thought I will spend another 5 minutes quickly taking you through few more pointers and FAQs because I don't want to miss this if we have pushed the session. So we can, if the next teller has not come, maybe we can take a few minutes while you're sharing.
The next workshop leader is here.
Is there. All right. So let me quickly finish what I have planned for you. I have answered a few FAQs and few pointers so that I don't miss it. After that, if we have time, we will see what you have created. Is that okay?
Yes.
Great. Wonderful. So I'll be sharing my screen. I'll be taking you through something, few interesting tips. Is my screen visible? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Right. So these are some of the very important tips in Kamishibai. Keep the stage at a slightly elevated level for classroom audience. Place the stage on the desk or a table with children seated on the floor or chairs in front of it. Make certain cards, make sure that it's all in the correct numerical order. Insert the cards as a pack into the stage. The opening of the stage for which the cards are inserted and pulled out is on the right. Sit or stand next to it. These are the things that I told. I'm just reiterating and recapping this for you. Try to keep eye contact with the audience. Avoid standing directly behind the stage. Okay. And you can begin the Kamishibai performance using the traditional wooden clappers or any other percussion instrument. So I'm sure a lot of people must be wondering, oh no, I don't have this clappers. What do I do? So you can use drums, any other percussion instrument, just that it creates that good icebreaker to grab the attention to begin your story. Open the stage doors one by one and announce the story. Begin narrating the story in the context of the story. And so a lot of cards that you find in the US have the text printed behind them. So it's also okay to read the text from behind. When the story is finished, end with a simple the end or a Japanese phrase of Oshimai and slowly closing the stage. Okay. Some of the FAQs, can we make our own butai? Can we buy them? So I think I answered this question. What are the ideal number of cards in the Kamishibai story? 10 to 12 or 12 to 15. Size of the paper used, it's A3. And I told the thickness. Can we make all stories into Kamishibai stories? Well, I think in the groups now we just experienced it, right? So all stories can be made into Kamishibai stories, provided you're able to storyboard it, have your own illustrations for it, then any story can be made into a Kamishibai story. Okay, can we use pictures from the web? Here, I would like to tell you that copyright is a big thing that you have to be very careful about. So if you're using pictures from the web, be sure it is copyright-free material. So picture books versus Kamishibai cards, as in what are the differences, how different it is. Picture books have text, It's very different when you hold a picture book and tell a story to tell it with a Kamishibai style. It's more, I personally believe it's a lot more, it connects with your audience when you're doing it with the Kamishibai cards. Yeah, I believe it's like directing your own film. So one of the groups that one of the breakout rooms when I went, they were discussing if it's good to 9:20, if it's good to have text on your cards. So ideally, my research has led me to understand that don't have text on your cards. It's okay to have something like a boom, like, a big BOOM that you have as if something just burst. Just few very minimalistic text like this is okay, but don't have longer conversations typed or written into your Kamishibai cards. Yes, credits to the author, illustrator in the beginning of the performance or at the end. Use of curtains. So that's what I said, a screen or a curtain that you use in the beginning. Okay, this is some more information that Kamishibai can be used, of course, in teaching science, maths, history, English, different places. Okay, these are some of the Kamishibai stories that are available. A wonderful person called Yumi Izuyama has been very generous to share these cards with me in India. Of course, if you're living outside, you can contact me and I can tell you how it can be procured. But in India, of course, I have these cards and it can be couriered to you. I can, personally, if you contact me, I can share the details with you. These are some of the cards that she has created for the stories. Okay, and important links, you can look for Write Out Loud, Kamishibai for Kids. You have wonderful material there. There are some downloadable cards also available on these places. Okay, all right. So this was something very important that I wanted to share before we finish the session, because I didn't want to keep it to the end and not tell you these information. Okay, any questions we'll take now and then we'll see your illustrations. Yes, Judy. Unmute, please.
I was just wondering what age group. I know you could do it for seniors or you could do it for adults, because I, as an adult, enjoyed it. But generally, for the children, what age group do you think they find it very captivating still?
It is open to any age group. If a child can sit down on its own, on his or her own, and is able to look at the picture cards that you are using, then it is from that age group, right?
Yes, but you didn't find, because I find that sometimes with storytelling, the 10 to 12 ages, their attention to wanting to, this is too simple. This is not,
True. I understand, especially when that has been in my experience. Even when you tell stories, it's very important to choose, stories according to your age, right? So as storytellers, we all know this. It's not the same story cannot be used across all ages. Similarly, Kamishibai also, the same story cannot be used across all ages, right? And you enjoyed it because you've come here with that, interest of wanting to learn. But when you're doing it to children, definitely there is like, it's too simple. And it's like you said, that can be the response. So choose your story when you are according to your audience. And if it's an older children group, it's good to engage them in creating the cards. Make them into smaller groups, engage them in the activity of creating their cards and presenting it. Then they take a lot of ownership and they enjoy that whole experience of creating it and presenting it back to the audience.
Okay,
So
we have 6 minutes to go.
Okay.
So could each group take 1 minute to just put whatever you painted, just put it up in front of the camera and let us take a look at it.
Oh, wow.
June. Okay, June, I'm going to spotlight you for a moment there. Okay, this is the bird putting pebbles into the glass of water. Correct?
Even unmute, June.
Yeah, you got to turn your mic on.
Yeah, he's just found the pot.
So there are different stages of the story, and what she has illustrated is just found the pot. Nice.
Okay, is there anyone else who is in
Judy has
June's
put
group?
up something.
Veena, are you in the same group or a different group?
Ellen has something.
Sorry, I'm in another group.
Well, is there anyone else that's in June's group?
Ellen seems to be in that group. She's
Ellen.
oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Veena and I and Manjari were in one group.
Okay, wait. I'm
You can.
Ellen.
Beautiful.
There is the word.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Okay. Anybody else in that group?
Just unmute and say so that we can spotlight you and see the story.
This is the thirsty crow that
This
which
is
we
the first picture. This is the first picture.
DG, are you in that group also?
No,
yes,
I'm
sir.
in that
Yes,
group.
sir. I'm in the 5th group number 5.
1 second, Vijay. He was
Is
just looking
anybody
for
else
the
in the
ones.
Thirsty Crow group?
Thirsty crow group.
Yes, it's me.
Lipika is there.
Yeah, the
Lipika.
crow is, yes, the
Yes,
crow
yes,
is in
yes.
search of water. It is very
Hold it.
dry and it is looking in search of water.
Wonderful. Okay. Let's go to a different group.
Group 2, we did.
Yes, Meenu. Yes, Meenu.
Yeah, we did the hare and the tortoise. This is the first scene.
You can spotlight me. I'm the second scene.
Hare and the tortoise are in the having a conversation, and the race is and they want to have a race. So that's the first scene.
Who is the second one?
Second one is here, Kritika.
All right.
Kritika?
Yeah, and he gets an early start and he runs off. And the tortoise is trying to catch up.
Very nice.
Anybody
Very
else
nice.
from
So
that
brave.
story?
And the last.
Judy is the third one.
Judy. Yes, I'll spotlight. Yes, Judy.
And I think I have to do the writing. It looks backwards to me. Maybe it doesn't to you, but it says finish. And the hare is sleeping while the tortoise has run and won the race.
And the ribbon has come off also. The ribbon has come off at the last.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, very nice.
Great.
So that much of text is okay. Like the finish is okay, right?
Yeah, thank you.
That's good.
Okay, do
And
we have
also
another group?
the zoom in and zoom out that you can play around with Kamishibai. Yes, Veena wanted to show something.
Veena.
Yes, Veena.
All right. So we have the little egg in the light of the moon. It's sitting on a leaf. And then take over Manjari, and Anita is in my group.
What's your other picture there?
It's coming.
She has
It's
the
other-
first
We don't have time
picture.
to go back and back.
It's Manjari who is
Another person.
Another person has to.
Yes. Okay. Yes, Manjari. The second card.
And Anita.
So, Anita first. Anita will go first.
Yeah, the little caterpillar was very hungry and it started eating all kinds of foods like an ice cream and watermelon. And it continued to be hungry. And then
Afterwards, the caterpillar was so tired and he had eaten so much rubbish that he just fell asleep.
And as he fell asleep for many days. And then when he woke up, whoa, he was hungry again and he ate a leaf. And suddenly he found himself that he had turned into something else.
Ah.
So that's The Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I think we are almost at the end of the session. My name is Ramya Srinidhi. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and do write to me. It's ramyasrinidhi@gmail.com. Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you, Eric, for this great platform. Do share your feedback on the chat.
Thank you, Ramya. Thank you.
That was very nice.
So just a beginning, a tip of the iceberg, and Kamishibai has loads and loads to offer. So wishing you a lot of learning, and we'll keep meeting, learning together, and making a lot of Kamishibai cards and telling stories.
It was really great. Is there any way that those 2 pages at the end, which had the links and stuff, you could put them in the chat?
I will put them in the chat.
Okay.
I'll put the links
Thank
in
you.
the chat. Okay. Thank you so much.